Welcome to the 14th episode of the Transient Thoughts podcast. Today, I'd like to talk about guns. Guns have been in the news pretty frequently in recent months, especially in the last few weeks with Vegas. And I just saw an article about a shooting in Colorado. And I thought, let's talk about it a little bit. I used to be the kind of person who said we all should be able to have guns. And over time, that position has changed. I no longer think that everybody should be permitted to have guns. Some people are just incapable of handling the responsibility. It's just like with a car. It's just like with a house. Some people can't even handle dealing with a house. I personally can't. I don't ever want to deal with a house. Another point. Children. Some people shouldn't have kids, but we're all permitted to have them for some reason or another, and that's a whole different story and another podcast from the past. The thing is that guns are dangerous. Even though they're not inherently bad, they are a tool whose design is specifically for killing. They are a deadly weapon. If you brandish a weapon, if you brandish a gun, you are brandishing a deadly weapon. Period. End of story. If you point it at something, one of the first rules of gun handling is that if you point a gun at something, it should be something you intend to shoot and kill. There are no warning shots, mind you. There's no such thing as a warning shot in the real world. In movies, yes. But a warning shot in the real world is attempted murder. You don't want to deal with attempted murder in the real world. It's just not something that is favorable. Then you go to jail for 5 to 10 or 20 years, depending on the state. In California, we have gun enhancement laws. So if you do any kind of crime and then a gun is involved, it enhances the nature of your crime, thus adding more punishment to it. Guns aren't toys. We have toys that are shaped like guns, and that's okay, for the most part. When used responsibly, I guess. When I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to have toy guns, and I just wanted them more. And then when I used guns, I was really good at using them. And so it didn't really help the whole I don't want you to have guns that my mother had in her mind, because I was just good at using them and I wanted to play with them more anyway. But at the same time, it's also a trust thing. Yeah, I played with squirt guns all the time. Who cares? Who cares if it looks like a gun? If you're afraid of it and all you do is try to pass off that fear, then you're not educating yourself. You're not educating the person, your child in this situation. Education, in almost all ways, reduces the fear. And this is of guns too. Guns aren't bad inherently. They're just machines that are, yes, easy to use, and unfortunately can be used to cause devastating results. The bump stocks used in the Vegas shooting are things that people have been in Congress who have been trying to get rid of. And it's good that they want to do that, because we obviously just saw what could be done with it. The reality is that we do need less guns in our society. We do. If we want a more civilized society, then we do need fewer guns, especially because the majority of the deaths from guns are from suicides. Most deaths from guns are suicides. How many people know that? Most people I talk to don't. As long as we continue to try to strive for a more civilized society, and ironically, the people who claim gun rights, who think that we need them in order to stop our government They're not using it to stop the government that we have right now, who's doing the things that could actually cause real problems for us, like dealing with net neutrality. So I think the reality when it comes to this is it's not even about guns. It's about rights. And they're using the gun as like the example of rights. But the reality also is we have too many guns in America. We have too many people who have too many guns. And although, yes, we can't stop everybody from committing suicide, we can't stop everybody from killing a bunch of people who are innocent or killing a lover in themselves, we can reduce the number of deaths by guns in America and overall deaths in general, simply by trying to find a way of educating people and, yes, adding a little bit more gun control. And I'm not exactly fond of saying that. I grew up in Texas. I hate the idea of gun control, but education creates control, self-control. And that's the real gun control we need in this country.